When we think about the dangers lurking in our surroundings, we often envision large predators with sharp teeth. However, some of the most terrifying threats come in the form of tiny creatures that can easily be overlooked: insects. From the buzzing of a mosquito to the rustle of a beetle, many of these seemingly harmless insects possess the lethal potential to eliminate humans and animals around them. The only question to ask is just how dangerous these creatures are. Join us as we reveal the most dangerous insects in the world lurking around you. Number 10. Botfly. There is a huge chance that you might have seen those horrifying videos of doctors removing botfly larvae from someone's head. The procedure itself looks satisfying, but what you don't know is that botflies are one of the most dangerous insects in the world. The presence of the insect itself isn't known to be very harmful. As per scientific research, botflies don't transmit pathogens, and their secretions are neutral. However, the insect is parasitic on mammals, meaning that when a botfly sticks itself to a host, it invades it by reproducing. Sounds terrifying, right? The invasion is quick, hostile, and very painful.
Oh, it's really sharp. It's really sharp once you go. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Botflies live out the larval stage in the subcutaneous layer, causing painful pustules that secrete fluids. There have been thousands of cases of tourists coming back to their native lands with a mysterious white pimple on their head, only to realize they have been infected by a botfly that was just laying eggs beneath their skin. The fly and its offspring can only be pulled out from the skin once they have lived through the larval stage. So, where does this dangerous insect come from? The human botfly, known scientifically as Dermatobia hominis, is a large, hairy insect that resembles a bumblebee. This parasitic fly is native to Central and South America, specifically from Mexico, down through Paraguay and into northeastern Argentina. Several hundred cases of botfly infestations have been reported in these regions, as the fly can easily latch onto a host. After finding its host, the botfly larvae enter through a small skin wound or by attaching to hair follicles, embedding themselves beneath the skin's surface. These larvae breathe through two spiracles on their rear end, which remain level with the skin, allowing them access to air while remaining lodged in the host. Cattle and dogs are the botfly's most common hosts, though a wide array of warm-blooded animals, including humans, monkeys, pigs, cats, rabbits, sheep, and buffalo, can also harbor the larvae. The larvae persist within their host by breathing through their spiracles, which need to be sealed off to remove them. Covering the spiracles with thick substances like petroleum jelly, bacon, or beeswax effectively cuts off their air supply, prompting the larvae to move toward the surface. Once they begin to emerge, they can be carefully extracted using forceps. However, the most common and controlled way to remove botfly larvae is through minor surgery. This process typically involves local anesthesia, where a small incision is made to widen the wound, allowing for easier removal of the larvae. Since botflies are true parasites, they don't kill the host. Yet recent scientific research shows that certain animals infected by botflies can die within 3 to 11 months if they are not given antibacterial treatment. For humans, botfly farming in their heads is an unsettling and disturbing thought, though. Unlike botflies, the next insect on our list is notorious for its painful sting. Number 9. Bullet ant. Seemingly, the bullet ant, at a single glance, is, well, just an ant. What you don't know is that it has earned its disturbing moniker for a reason. After all, a sting from this dangerous insect feels like a bullet piercing through your skin. in real time. Anyone who has had the deepest misfortune to get stung by a bullet ant has described it as the most painful experience of their lives. The affected area of the body also becomes paralyzed. No matter how one tries, they find it profoundly difficult to move their body. More disturbingly, as soon as one is stung by the bullet ant, one starts to experience uncontrollable tremors, and on top of everything, the pain is excruciating. The Schmidt Pain Index confirms that the bullet ant's sting is the most painful. This is why, in many indigenous cultures, the ant is feared. Bullet ants make their home in the tropical rainforests of Central and South America, spanning countries like Honduras, Nicaragua, Costa Rica, Venezuela, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Bolivia, and Brazil. These ants establish their colonies at the base of trees, giving them easy access to forage in the forest canopy. Each colony typically houses several hundred members. Known for the intense sting they deliver, bullet ants are called the 24-hour ant in Venezuela due to the lasting pain their sting inflicts, which can endure for an entire day. In Brazil, locals refer to them as formigão preto, or big black ant. Indigenous groups have names for these ants that translate to the one who wounds deeply, reflecting the infamous sting. However, despite their fearsome reputation, bullet ants are not naturally aggressive and only sting when they feel threatened or provoked. If disturbed, the bullet ant's first defense is to release a warning scent. Yet, if the threat persists, ants will bite and latch on with their mandibles prior to stinging. The locals know enough about these dangerous insects to wear over-the-knee boots around their colonies, but unfortunately, tourists often fall victim to their sting. The main toxin found in bullet ant venom is called toxin. This neurotoxic peptide works by disrupting voltage-gated sodium ion channels in skeletal muscles, effectively blocking synapse transmission within the central nervous system. This is why other symptoms of a bullet ant bite include nausea, vomiting, fever, and cardiac arrhythmia.
It was incredibly painful, like the kind of pain where you're just sweating and just waiting for it to stop.
As per scientific research, the venom of bullet ants is not lethal for humans. So far, there's no evidence for it to cause an allergic reaction either. However, since bullet ants are hostile to other insects, their venom is their biggest weapon. They can kill or paralyze other insects with their natural toxin. Yep, talk about being super dangerous for a very small size. Interestingly, the bullet ants have found their place in local indigenous cultures for very novel reasons. Among the Satarimawe people of Brazil, enduring bullet ant stings is a crucial part of a traditional initiation ritual. To complete this rite of passage, young boys first collect the ants, which are then subdued using an herbal mixture.
Describe the pain.
These sedated ants are woven into gloves made of leaves, with their stingers pointing inward. The initiate must wear these mitts 20 times to achieve the status of a warrior within the community. Number 8. Asian Giant Hornet. Back in 2021, multiple sightings of Asian giant hornets had caused a mass hysteria in the United States of America. There were shaking fears that the largest hornets to exist were looking to find a permanent home in their non-native country, and if that had become a possibility, they would have endangered the entire species of bees. There's a reason why these insects have been dubbed as the murder hornets.
Asian giant hornets, nicknamed
Murder hornet.
murder hornet.
Murder hornet. Murder hornets.
Asian giant hornets don't discriminate when it comes to their targets. Yet on the internet, you might have seen these colossal insects setting their eyes on honeybees. The devastation they leave behind is terrifying. They crawl into a hive and rip off the heads of bees in large numbers. Known as Vespa mandarinia, These hornets originate from temperate and tropical regions of East and Southeast Asia, particularly in countries like Japan, China, Korea, Thailand, and Vietnam. These hornets thrive in low mountains and forested areas where they build their nests underground, far away from their homes. Their earliest sightings in North America were in Washington State and Vancouver Islands in 2019. That alone was enough to send the United States Wildlife Department into a frenzy. Once you get to know these hornets, you'll understand why. Usually, a female Asian giant hornet can reach a size of almost 4 centimeters, or around 1.5 inches, boasting powerful, sharp mandibles capable of decapitating its prey.
Everything about this creature screams, run in the other direction.
Although hornets typically hunt alone, in late summer through autumn, these formidable insects may join forces for coordinated assaults on nests of other social insects, especially honeybees. This intense activity is known as the slaughter and occupation phase. On average, honeybees contribute $15 billion to the American economy. So, if these hornets are still colonizing North America, beekeepers might not be out of the woods yet. Like other social wasps, Asian giant hornets build a fresh nest each year. This process begins when a single queen emerges from her winter dormancy and starts the colony. She initially raises several broods of female workers, who eventually take over the responsibilities of foraging and nest maintenance as the colony expands. To ensure the survival of the species, the colony produces new queens and males who mate before winter. Once this cycle is complete, the males and that year's workers perish, while the new queens find sheltered places to overwinter.
Today, I'm going to be stung by the largest hornet in the world.
Although the venom of the Asian giant hornet is less toxic than that of some other wasps, these hornets inject a higher volume per sting. With a stinger that can pierce thick protective clothing, such as beekeeping gear, this species is particularly formidable. Notably, Asian giant hornets will aggressively defend their nests by attacking in groups, summoning fellow colony members to join the assault. This mass attack strategy, combined with their ability to deliver multiple stings, poses significant risks, especially to young children and individuals with pre-existing health conditions. These hornets don't go out of their way to attack humans, though. Number 7. Deer tick. The deer tick, or black-legged tick, might seem like just a tiny, harmless bug, but it's actually one of the most dangerous insects out there. The deer tick is tiny. Its size is no bigger than a pencil point, yet the damage it can incur is immeasurable. Found mostly in the northeastern, midwestern, and southeastern United States, these tiny parasites, often no bigger than a sesame seed, carry some serious health risks. While they're most famous for spreading Lyme disease, deer ticks can also transmit illnesses like anaplasmosis, babesiosis, and the Powassan virus, all of which can lead to severe or even life-threatening health issues. The deer tick has a 4-stage life cycle: egg, larva, nymph, and adult. At every stage, they need a blood meal to survive, feeding on hosts that range from small mammals and birds to larger animals like deer. It's in the nymph stage, though, that they're particularly dangerous. During this phase, the ticks are so small that they're often impossible to spot on your skin. Most cases of tick-borne illness actually occur in late spring and early summer, when nymphs are active. A bite from a nymph is painless, which means a tick can feed on you for days without you realizing it.
The size of the Lyme disease problem and to get good information on rapid diagnostics and treatment,
giving it plenty of time to transmit any infections it's carrying. If a tick is infected and bites a human, it can pass bacteria and viruses straight into the bloodstream. The symptoms vary depending on the disease, but can include fever, chills, muscle pain, and, in severe cases, neurological issues. Lyme disease, The most common illness spread by these ticks can lead to chronic joint pain, facial paralysis, and even heart issues if it isn't caught early. And while the Powassan virus is rare, it's also extremely dangerous. It can cause encephalitis and other neurological issues, and in some cases can be fatal. It is unsettling, but the deer tick is known to cause chaos in the United States of America. In one unfortunate case, at a hospital in New York, a 62-year-old man ended up in critical condition due to deer tick virus encephalitis. He had symptoms like fever, weakness in his right arm and leg, and a rash that looked like a maculopapular one.
Lyme disease patients suffer from long-term symptoms.
It all has to do with an immune system marker that's found in the blood.
Sadly, he didn't make it, and after an autopsy, doctors found the deer tick virus in his tissues. What's particularly concerning is that he hadn't traveled recently, indicating that the virus might actually be circulating in New York. This man spent a lot of time outdoors, especially in wooded areas, and had close contact with horses. Plus, Lyme disease was already a known issue in his neighborhood, suggesting that ticks were very active around him. Then, there's another case from 2017 involving a 72-year-old woman in Maine. After being admitted to the hospital with fever, low blood pressure, and problems urinating, it turned out that she had also dealt with deer ticks. Just a month before her hospital visit, a tick was removed from her left breast, and soon after, another one was found on her left shoulder. After that, she started showing symptoms like muscle aches, chills, and a rash that often appears in the early stages of Lyme disease, right in the spot where the ticks had been removed. Just like the next dangerous insect on our list, deer ticks have caused a fair amount of damage. Number 6. Black widow spider. Black widow spiders have earned their notorious reputation thanks to the distinctive hourglass-shaped markings on their abdomens. While multiple species are known as black widows, these spiders inhabit temperate areas across the globe. Their bite has long been feared, with venom reportedly 15 times more potent than that of a rattlesnake. In humans, a black widow bite can cause muscle aches, nausea, and even diaphragm paralysis, which makes breathing difficult. However, despite these symptoms, most bites aren't as dangerous as people think. Serious complications or fatalities are rare. In reality, black widow bites typically result in mild to moderate symptoms, and death is uncommon. When fatalities do occur, it's usually in cases involving small children, elderly individuals, or those with pre-existing health issues. Fortunately, these spiders are not aggressive and usually bite only if threatened or accidentally disturbed, like if someone unknowingly sits on one. However, there have been cases where certain species of black widow spiders have caused chaos. Back in 2006, profoundly venomous spiders had found their foothold in southern Europe, causing major fatalities in Albania. The Albanian media reported that 4 individuals had died in the northern part of the country due to black widow bites, yet health officials confirmed that only 2 of the reported deaths were caused by the infamous spiders. Shockingly, the fatalities involved a 17-year-old boy and a 27-year-old woman. This news prompted hundreds of people to visit emergency wards to have their insect bites evaluated. Several hundred doses of antidote for spider bites were sent from nearby Croatia, including 100 doses intended to treat the symptoms of those suspected of having been bitten by the spider. Over history, there have been other similar instances of black widow spiders causing deaths, but such cases are hardly brought into the limelight. What we do get to witness is these dangerous insects brutalizing their peers. The animals most vulnerable to black widow bites are insects, along with male black widow spiders. Females sometimes engage in a disturbing behavior known as sexual cannibalism, where they kill and consume their male counterparts after mating, which is how the insect earned its name. Black widow spiders tend to be solitary throughout the year, except during this aggressive mating process. These spiders create large webs where the females hang a cocoon containing hundreds of eggs. The spiderlings quickly disperse after emerging from their eggs, but the web remains intact. Black widows also utilize their webs to trap their prey, which primarily includes flies, mosquitoes, grasshoppers, beetles, and caterpillars. Classified as comb-footed spiders, they have bristles on their hind legs that they use to cover trapped prey with silk. When it comes to feeding, black widows puncture their insect victims with their fangs and inject digestive enzymes into their bodies. These enzymes, combined with their sharp fangs, allow the spiders to liquefy the tissues of their prey, enabling them to suck up the resulting fluid.
This time of year, she's probably already had her egg sac and hatched out hundreds of babies and might just be looking for a warm place to curl up in the winter.
Number 5. Lonomia obliqua. Lonomia obliqua, commonly referred to as the assassin caterpillar, is known as one of the deadliest caterpillars in the world. After all, it is capable of causing fatal consequences for humans. Just a few stings from this creature can lead to severe internal bleeding, potentially causing the shutdown of vital organs and the brain. Found primarily in the rainforests of South America, Lonomia obliqua is responsible for approximately 500 deaths across the continent. Experts have linked an outbreak of unusual internal bleeding symptoms in Rio Grande do Sul to this tiny but lethal caterpillar, as all affected individuals worked in the rainforest. Accidental contact with the caterpillar emerged as the only common factor among the patients. Lonomia obliqua can be found throughout Brazil, Uruguay, Argentina, and Paraguay. Interestingly, despite its significant potential for harm, this caterpillar is relatively small, measuring around 2 inches in length. Its green and brown coloration allows it to blend seamlessly into its forest surroundings, camouflaging itself among trees. However, its size belies the danger it poses. The hollow hairs covering its body can puncture the skin of an adult and deliver a lethal dose of venom. This venom, stored in sacs at the base of its spikes, contains powerful anti-clotting agents, which can lead to widespread and severe internal bleeding. While internal bleeding might not sound particularly alarming, this type can spread to vital organs and the brain, resulting in a tragic demise. Fortunately, it would generally require between 20 to 100 stings for the venom to be fatal. Still, it's best to avoid encounters with this hazardous creature to prevent any unfortunate stings. The adult form of the Lonomia obliqua, the giant silkworm moth, can also be dangerous, but is generally less lethal than its caterpillar stage. These moths can vary from medium to large in size, but only live for a few weeks due to their minimal mouthparts, which prevent them from feeding. While neither the moth nor the caterpillar is guaranteed to cause death by internal bleeding, coming into contact with them could result in mild discomfort, unless someone gets stung repeatedly, of course.
Nocturnal flyers, but this group this guy belongs to actually fly during the day, almost like butterflies.
Number 4. Assassin bug. Let's just say that this little insect lives up to its name. The assassin bug, belonging to the family Reduvidae, is a dangerous insect known for its predatory behavior and disturbing features. Found in a variety of habitats worldwide, including gardens, forests, and grasslands, these bugs have gained a reputation for their impressive hunting skills. One of the most notable characteristics of assassin bugs is their elongated bodies and long, slender legs. They possess a specialized mouthpart called a proboscis, which allows them to pierce the exoskeleton of their prey. This proboscis functions like a straw, enabling the assassin bug to inject digestive enzymes that liquefy the tissues of its victim. Once immobilized, the bug consumes the fluids, leaving behind an empty husk. This method of feeding is not only effective, but also quite gruesome. Assassin bugs are remarkable predators, preying on a range of insects, including aphids, caterpillars, and other soft-bodied pests. Their hunting technique is a masterclass. They often remain motionless, camouflaged in their surroundings, waiting for unsuspecting prey to come close. Some species even employ mimicry, disguising themselves as harmless insects to lure in their victims. However, while they play a beneficial role in controlling pest populations, assassin bugs can pose significant dangers to humans. Their bites can be quite painful, leading to localized swelling and discomfort. In certain instances, species such as the triatoma bugs are known to transmit diseases, including Chagas disease, caused by the parasite Trypanosoma cruzi. This makes it crucial to exercise caution when encountering these insects, as their defensive behavior can result in bites that cause more than just mild irritation. In addition to their predatory powers, assassin bugs are also a part of the ecosystem, serving as prey for various birds and insectivorous animals. Their presence can indicate a healthy environment as they thrive in areas rich in insect life. The next dangerous insect on our list is quite familiar to you. Number 3. Housefly. All right, maybe you didn't see this one coming. Houseflies are everywhere, and that is a huge problem that we are growing in our homes in plain sight. The common housefly is a nondescript gray insect, measuring about 1/4 of an inch long, with 4 dark stripes across its thorax. These flies are notorious for their breeding habits, often laying eggs on animal waste and decomposing organic material. From these eggs hatch legless white maggots, the larval stage, which grow to roughly 1/2 an inch in length. Once fully developed, the maggots move away from their food source to enter the pupal stage, forming a dark brown casing known as a puparium. Eventually, they emerge as adult houseflies, capable of flying up to 1 or 2 miles in search of new sites to lay their eggs. Houseflies are far from clean creatures. They frequent unsanitary environments such as landfills, sewers, and trash heaps. Their diet is equally unpleasant, consisting of fecal matter, bodily discharges, and decaying organic substances, including spoiled fish, eggs, and meat. Given their feeding habits, it's no surprise that houseflies are considered major carriers of disease. They are suspected of transmitting at least 65 diseases to humans, such as typhoid fever, dysentery, cholera, poliomyelitis, yaws, anthrax, tularemia, leprosy, and tuberculosis. One of the most concerning aspects of houseflies is their role in disease transmission. They often regurgitate and defecate on surfaces they land on, which facilitates the mechanical spread of pathogens. When they come into contact with food or surfaces in homes, they can easily contaminate these areas, posing significant health risks. Thus, while the common housefly may seem like a mere nuisance, it plays a substantial role in the transmission of serious illnesses, making it crucial to manage their presence in both domestic and public spaces. After all, even if these flies aren't causing you any direct harm, chances are you could end up swallowing them. Sounds unsettling, right? Well, swallowing a housefly isn't as uncommon as you might think. While there are no such reported deaths because of this very unfortunate instance, the thought itself is quite gross. This is not to say that the sentiment is universal. In many cultures, eating bugs and flies is a common practice, and well, let's say one man's nuisance is another man's food. It is still very much advisable to manage houseflies in one way or another. There are 4 basic principles of pest management important in controlling houseflies: sanitation, exclusion, non-chemical measures, and chemical methods. Always remember, houseflies hate cleanliness. So, if you're looking to get rid of them, cleaning your house regularly is the most effective way to go about it. At least, like the next insect on our list, houseflies aren't poisonous. Number 2. Blister beetle. If there's a very hypothetical battle between a horse and a common tiny beetle, we know who is winning the duel. Yet, if we pit the same horse against the blister beetle, the results can change drastically. Blister beetles belong to the Meloidae family of insects, known for their plant-feeding habits and their production of cantharidin, a toxic chemical that serves as a defense mechanism against predators. The common name blister beetle comes from the painful blisters that can form if these beetles are accidentally crushed against the skin. These beetles have slender bodies that typically range from 3/4 of an inch to 1 1/4 inches in length. Their bodies are narrow, and they feature broad heads with long antennae that make up about 1/3 of their overall length. Unlike many other beetles, blister beetles have soft and flexible front wings, adding to their unique appearance. While blister beetles seem harmless, they come with serious health risks, particularly for livestock such as horses, sheep, and cattle. The cantharidin found in both living and dead blister beetles can be toxic, and in some cases, it can even be lethal. The estimated lethal dose of cantharidin is between 0.5 and 1 milligram per kilogram of body weight. One concerning aspect of cantharidin is its stability. It remains toxic even after the beetles have died, posing an ongoing threat. Animals can ingest cantharidin when they consume crushed beetles found in cured hay. The severity of the resulting poisoning can vary widely, depending on the amount of cantharidin ingested, the size of the animal, and its overall health. Symptoms of poisoning often appear within a few hours and can include irritation and inflammation of the digestive and urinary tracts, colic, and frequent straining during urination. In some cases, this irritation can lead to secondary infections and bleeding, compounding the risks. For horses, one of the most alarming effects of cantharidin poisoning is the drastic drop in calcium levels, which can lead to significant damage to heart muscle tissue. Because animals can deteriorate quickly, sometimes within just 72 hours, it is almost terrifying how a little bug can incur so much damage within days. Before you ask, blister beetles do attack humans, but the condition isn't generally life-threatening. However, many scientific research papers indicate that there have been reports of human poisoning because of blister beetles. Likely, these insects won't cause any permanent damage to your skin, but experts highly suggest taking the first ambulance to the nearest hospital if the affected area is your eye. Number 1. Anopheles mosquito. Half of the world's population is at an active risk of getting infected, thanks to this notorious mosquito on our list. Anopheles mosquitoes are often recognized as one of the most dangerous insects in the world due to their role as primary vectors of malaria, a life-threatening disease that affects millions of people globally. These mosquitoes thrive in warm, humid environments and are commonly found in tropical and subtropical regions. There are over 400 species of Anopheles mosquitoes, but only a few are known to transmit the malaria parasite. The life cycle of Anopheles mosquitoes begins with the female laying eggs in still or slow-moving water. After hatching, the larvae develop in aquatic environments before emerging as adults. It's important to note that only female mosquitoes bite humans and animals, as they require blood to develop their eggs. This feeding behavior is what facilitates the transmission of malaria. When an Anopheles mosquito bites an infected person, it ingests the malaria parasites. These parasites then develop within the mosquito before being transmitted to another host through its bite. The dangers posed by Anopheles mosquitoes extend beyond malaria. They are also known to transmit other diseases, including lymphatic filariasis, dengue fever, and West Nile virus, depending on the species and region. The symptoms of malaria can be severe, including fever, chills, and flu-like illness. If not treated promptly, it can lead to complications such as anemia, respiratory distress, and even death. This is why it is advisable to take appropriate precautions around your living spaces. Eliminating standing water is the most crucial way to go about it. Thanks for watching. and we'll see you in the next one.